Comic books, anime, video games, sci-fi. If you've been made fun of for it, we're probably going to talk about it.
Everyone pretend podcasting isn't boring.
This is NerdRadio.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Emmett Brown. I'm standing on a parking lot at Twin Pines Mall, and this is temporal experiment number 1.
Welcome to a very interesting and different episode of Nerd Radio. My name is Chuck Bean. I'm your host, joined by James.
Hello.
And Mr. Al Beck.
I'm here. Well, I'm there. I'm not there, but I'm someplace.
Yes, you are virtually here with us thanks to the magic of the internet. And it is because we are, as we record this, we are in the holiday season. We are a couple of days before Christmas, but as you hear this podcast-wise, this will be the first Nerd Radio of 2021.
Wow, it's the first show of 2021, and you set it up. You made some big promises at the beginning.
It's very...
I forget exactly what you said, but I'm like, we are not going to live up to those standards.
You made some very big
interesting
that I don't
and
remember.
Very different, or whatever he said. I'm like,
it's
oh
very
boy.
different. It's very different. Well, because I mean, in one way, the setup for the show has been exactly the same, but for another way, we haven't time traveled with Nerd Radio in quite a while. Like when we used to record them, and then they would go up on Wednesdays, and the podcast would go up on Fridays. There was some time travel involved. With some of that. So this is kind of a throwback to that kind of thing.
Right. Because it is like, presumably, this podcast is being released on New Year's Day.
Yes.
So Happy New Year, everybody. It's 2021, and we can sit here and say congratulations, we all made it. But in reality, as we record this, we've got a week and a half. One of us might be dead by now.
Anything could happen.
Oh, my God. Why? Why would you go down that road, Al?
Why would you put that in the universe?
I have a curse. I have a curse, and now you put that on us.
We may have to edit in a deluxe edition of this episode with a special Nerd Radio Death Watch.
Special disclaimer. James didn't make it through the holidays.
We all died in a fiery podcast crash.
Well, I'm glad now we are all dead, because I was just thinking it was going to be me, and I was going to say, I want Halal Beefcake to eulogize me on the next Nerd Radio episode, if that's the case.
Yeah, no, that would be pretty fascinating.
They'll eulogize you. They'll also act as your pallbearers.
That's fine. Those hunks?
Yeah,
those two can handle it. Yeah,
for sure.
Actually, just the genetic jackpot, Joe Coleman could probably handle it on his own.
Yeah, just put it off on your show. You could be cremated and then put into that jar that's supposed to be the protein powder.
Yeah,
and he could. it's like the Undertaker jar.
Yes. And they hold it up.
Yeah, I'll follow him around. I'll wear a suit, but then I'll have a towel over my shoulders.
Yeah.
And, oh yes, Joe Coleman.
No, don't even do a suit. Do a tuxedo T-shirt.
Tuxedo T-shirt. Okay, yeah. That would be a good homage to you, because you do the tuxedo T-shirt.
Oh my goodness, yes.
I love it. And I'll join the whole thing via Skype. I'm just, now that I've done this from home, I don't see any reason why I need to come in anymore.
But it'll be on Skype, but it's not actually live video. You just
I've just got you. I've got you on my phone, and it's kind of glitchy depending on where he's wrestling.
No, dude. I'm definitely gonna have a pre-produced video. Definitely gonna give you the Ferris Bueller treatment, where it's just a video of me just kind of dozing off, going.
So we're going to cover some stuff that if you're listening to this as a podcast happened well over a week ago, but that's because of the nature of this. And as I mentioned the last week that we recorded, we are on Twitch right now. It is the Wednesday before Christmas. And
by the way, real quick, I do want to point out that the reason I'm not there is that my vacation started today.
Right.
And I still wanted to be on the show. So I'm not in quarantine.
Oh, yes. That's a good point.
I'm not sick.
No.
None of this is COVID related
circumstances.
No. It's all holiday time off related circumstances.
It was down to I could either just take the week off. James was still going to be there, or I could join remotely.
Right.
And, I've got a rig, like a mixer and a good microphone and all that stuff
at
home. So I figured, hop on with Skype. So I just wanted to throw that out there real quick, that there's no issues, no health issues.
Well, that's how we got what, March through June worth of podcast was through your awesome rig. So it's very convenient that you had it set up. Yeah. So something that I already found out that we can't talk about yet is The Mandalorian. Because Al hasn't seen the final episode.
Is he the only person alive on the planet that hasn't seen the final episode of The Mandalorian?
He must be.
Because you know what?
I don't know how you could avoid spoilers, Al.
That's the thing I wanted to ask
about. One of the main people that was a part of the episode spoiled it for me. I figured it out because the person that's involved in it had to tweet some stupid stuff.
Right.
Oh my God, I kind of want to know what this is, but I feel like we should save that to the end. So if anyone doesn't want it spoiled for them,
Sure.
You know, if there's anyone else who hasn't seen it, but I will say,
there's one other person, that guy with the voice. The guy that does some voice work and stuff for Dave and Chuck, who's hanging out in the chat. Thanks for hanging out, man.
Oh, cool.
He hasn't seen it. Luckily for him, he's delivering packages for the USPS, so he has an excuse.
Right.
Al, you do not have an excuse.
I don't. Well, here is my excuse. It's not a good excuse, but I've been doing my Star Trek pilgrimage.
Yes.
And I'm on the last series. Get through Enterprise, and I've seen every Star Trek episode that's ever happened.
Oh, okay.
And the girlfriend loves Next Gen and kind of bits and pieces of other Star Trek. And so she's all of a sudden latched onto Enterprise and loves Enterprise, and she's coming up on the outside and catching up to me, and she will spoil something for me, whether she means to or not. So now I feel this pressure to just binge Enterprise and get through it as quick as possible. I'm like, go watch DS9. You skipped all of that and Voyager.
Yeah, that is unfair.
Now you're coming into the show I'm on, and you're going to ruin it for me. So over the weekend, when I wasn't busy, I've just been watching Enterprise, and I completely forgot to watch the new Discovery and the new Mandalorian. But that's my excuse, and I do say that that was the last one of the season that just aired.
It was.
So I think we should discuss it at the end, and I'm not as in love with it in the sense that it's going to ruin my day if it gets
breaking
spoiled.
my heart. He's not as in love with it.
Yeah, well,
I feel like if you saw the episode, you would be.
That was the thing, is that
much love with it.
Mike Pandoff, who we have on the show, or we've had on the show before, he's my Star Trek or Star Wars expert. Man, he's gonna be so pissed when I got that wrong.
He lives in another state now. It's okay. He won't go back and beat you up.
He will send me and Amy a group message on Friday morning, and he hasn't spoiled anything, but it'd be like, man, that was so great. And I have to tell him every Friday, they're like, Mike, we don't watch it until Saturday night. We don't have until Saturday night to sit together and watch The Mandalorian.
It's like a service he should offer, like a nerd show hype man.
Yeah.
It's like maybe because sometimes I'm not as excited to watch something. I'm like, I'm sure it's probably a great episode.
Right.
But I'll watch it tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'll watch it over the weekend. But if you want to avoid spoilers and you hire Mike Pandoff as your nerd program hype man, he'll text you the morning of the debut of the episode, and he will tell you how great of an episode it is. Then you need to tune in that night.
Yeah.
I think that's a service that can make some money there.
Oh, it only happens if it's Star Wars, though. He doesn't care about anything else. It's the only thing he's good at.
That's not a perfect plan. It's not a perfect business model, but hey, the bone structures are there.
Yeah.
Do what you will with the Mike Pandoff if you want to peel up a couple of
the
Benjamins.
only thing he's good at. I like that comment. It's it's one up on me.
That's his focus.
Yeah.
If we're starting the business model, he's got the Star Wars arm of it.
There you go.
So.
Well, this radio thing's the only thing I'm good at, and we all know how good I'm not at it. I couldn't even bother to show up today.
Right. I need to get him back on the show just to talk about it, because he's every time I will troll him about stuff like the Darksaber.
Oh yeah.
I'll be he's like, it's so important. I'm like, it's only important if you can make Nerf toys of it, dude. Calm down.
True.
It's not that important.
Well, we could always do it this way. If he's got a Skype, we could always put him on in a future episode like this. Not today. I'm taking up the Skype myself.
Right. But we'll have to see. Maybe in the new year.
Al's clogging up the Skype pipe. Al clogged the Skype pipe. Damn it, Al.
He's that kid in the Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah, Augustus Gloop. Yeah, he's the Augustus Gloop of Skype.
Skype pipe.
You're going to need a bigger plunger. That's all I got to say.
So, yeah, we'll get to that, The Mandalorian coming up. What else did I have in here? Oh, that's the other thing that happened over the weekend that I want to talk about, because I'm sure James saw it. The final pay-per-view for the WWE of 2020. WWE TLC happened. And I don't know if you heard about this, Al.
Had a big budget.
But they set a man on fire.
Yeah.
It's
burned
been
him
done.
alive.
It has. No, they did one of those Inferno matches between Bray Wyatt and as the Fiend and Randy Orton.
They burned a man alive, Al.
But not only
nothing but ashes left.
So for those of you who don't understand how an Inferno match works, they surround the ring with fire elements, and the only way to win the match is to set your opponent on fire to push them into the fire and have them get burned.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. But after the match, after it was over, spoilers, Randy Orton set the Fiend on fire. After it was over, he covered the Fiend in gasoline and then dropped a match on him and set him on fire.
Yeah.
And it was very obviously a body double.
It was so badly done.
It was a really
Yeah.
bad dummy.
Yeah, it was. I was like, I'm like the obvious. I'm like, but I'm also. So it was obvious that it was a body double. There was some
Yeah.
sort of a dummy that could be lit on fire.
It was like a CPR dummy.
Yeah, but then as Randy Orton is like trying to get matches lit or whatever, and then all of a sudden you see the fake Bray Wyatt Fiend getting ready to get lit on fire. I look right at my fiance. I'm like, they totally swapped him out with a dummy. Like, clearly she knew, but I'm like mansplaining. I'm like, there is absolutely no way that is really Bray Wyatt the Fiend. He is not pouring gasoline on actual Bray Wyatt. That is.
Jeez,
Yeah.
James.
I'm like,
I know your feeble brain is too small to fathom this.
listen here, woman. You don't understand the workings of professional wrestling.
The high caliber entertainment medium
Yeah.
that is professional wrestling.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm sure my fiance's like, hey, stupid, you've been half asleep for this whole pay-per-view. Good morning.
Yeah.
I know it's not a real Bray Wyatt.
But
Right.
Amy actually watched the match with me and was cackling because she was like, I'm getting what I wanted, but now I'm not sure I want it anymore.
Yeah, it was one of those things you're like,
when
oh.
they said that you're going to set a man on fire, you're like, oh, well, I got to see this. But now that they keep getting closer to the fire, I'm like, don't set that guy on fire.
Yeah, you're like, I don't want it. No, don't do it. Don't do it. I'm like, oh, it's just
Oh
a
my
dummy.
God. You wrote the perfect tagline for this podcast.
I'm getting what I wanted, but now I'm not sure I wanted it anymore.
Yes. My God. Could you have described Nerd Radio better?
Than that.
Yeah.
It actually sounds like really good song lyrics, too.
Yeah, it does.
Write a song with those, Chuck.
It's definitely I can't think of the band that has the real long song titles.
Like brand new?
Yeah, something like it's a
Yeah.
brand new song. I'm getting
Yeah.
what I wanted in parentheses.
And I
but now
love
I'm not
bands
sure I
that have
want it
those long
anymore.
titles.
Or My Chemical Romance.
Yeah,
was
My
good for
Chemical
that,
Romance
too.
would have that. Taking Back Sunday.
Yeah, that's who I was trying to think of. Taking
Okay.
Back Sunday.
All those emo kids, they had really long song titles because their hearts
Right.
were just so broken by all those high school babes.
And there was some other fun stuff that happened in TLC, but the main thing to take away from it is that they
the
did
Inferno match.
They did an Inferno match, and it was actually it was fairly entertaining.
Yeah, I thought the whole pay-per-view. I don't know. Are we going down Wrestling Road right now?
We
Are
can,
talking
yeah,
about
for
the whole
sure.
thing? So I know Al didn't see it or whatever, but hey, technically Al's like John Cena. You can't see him right now.
Yeah,
But I think overall it was an entertaining pay-per-view. I mean, I fall asleep throughout the duration of it, but that's just because I have the craziest
you got
work schedule.
Yeah, you
you
got a
know?
crazy work schedule, and it's not that entertaining these days either.
Yeah, there's
You know,
always a
it's-
lot of lulls.
The bar
and
is
stuff.
significantly lower with
But,
no crowd.
I thought what they did with bringing the Miz in, cashing in his Money in the
Yeah,
Bank.
the ladder matches were really fun.
Yeah.
We were laughing about AJ Styles has this giant black man as a bodyguard called Omos.
Yeah,
it's like 8.5 feet tall, and he just picked him. He grabbed the Miz off of the ladder and carried him like a baby and
Yep.
dropped him out of the ring, and that was really fun.
Yeah, I thought that was an entertaining match. It was cool. Charlotte Flair came back.
Yeah,
I'm a Charlotte Flair fan. I don't know why, but I enjoy watching her wrestle.
that's cool.
I think she's very dominant. I like watching her manhandle those chicks
Yeah,
when she's in the ring. So it was cool to see her come back, even though I thought it was weird that her and Asuka were so like
yeah. There wasn't much
buddy
of an
buddies. I'm
explanation.
like, wait a second, why are you guys so buddy buddy? Because before, like, you hated Asuka. and-
Considering that Charlotte is the one that defeated Asuka, and after she won the Royal Rumble
yeah,
at
yeah.
the WrestleMania,
Like, you guys have a
we were-
history. Why are you so good friends all of a sudden?
Yeah, which they tried to explain a little bit on Monday Night Raw when they were on commentary, but it's just like
Oh, see, I wasn't even awake for that. Oh my god,
it's the kind of thing, much like the thing with the Fiend and Bray Wyatt. Like, even as a layman, you look at that and you're like, why did you even shoot the dummy?
yeah, exactly.
Why didn't you just get a close focus on Randy dropping the thing and the
Yep.
fire, and then back up while it's on fire?
Yeah, then you could
'Cause
take a
it's
shot, like
very-
a wide shot with just a smoldering
Yes.
pile of hay or whatever the scarecrow that they lit on fire in the middle of the ring.
I did want to bring it up though, because WWE on Fox posted a tweet on Tuesday that said January 2020 versus December 2020, and the first picture is Bray Wyatt with the championship because he had it in January,
Okay.
and then the December one is him on it, is the Fiend on fire. Bray's been really good on Twitter too, as far as going into this, because before it happened, he tweeted a picture of a caterpillar, and then after the match was over, his Twitter had a caterpillar in a cocoon, and it said "Thank you,"
Oh.
keeping it creepy. Because you know
Interesting.
the Fiend's coming back from getting set on
absolutely.
fire.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, they still have Alexa Bliss working that angle.
Yeah.
You know, I'm interested to see what they do with it from here.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's the only thing I really tune into Monday Night Raw for anymore is to see what's going on with the Fiend. In the same
Gotcha.
way that I'll check out Impact Wrestling because I think Rosemary's a lot of fun.
You know what? It's really too bad that we can't put my Skype video onto the Twitch stream so the viewers can't see my eyes glaze over.
When we talk about this stuff. It's funny too because I wasn't like a huge Undertaker fan, but now if you've got a spooky character in wrestling, I'm all in immediately. Just like, oh, what is this? You look amazing.
It's probably your love of horror. You like bringing in that horror element into It's like,
Yeah,
It's like when they made Reese's peanut butter cups. You know, they took two delicious things, peanut butter,
Put 'em
and
together.
chocolate, and combined
I'm
them. So
getting
now
my-
they got professional wrestling and horror.
and horror. And
That's Chuck's peanut butter cup right there.
yep.
But it took you a long time to get into it. That's what's interesting.
Into the horror and avenue.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I was a huge chicken shit as a kid.
But also, I would almost classify. I wouldn't really classify the Undertaker as much horror. Like, yeah, I guess he'd be the Goosebumps books.
Yes.
Of horror.
He's
you know.
he's a supernatural character. He's supposed to, they have the creepy music and the fog
Yeah.
rolls in and stuff,
Yeah.
but like he's not scary.
Yeah.
Kane is more
Rude?
scary.
Yeah, like Kane would be now. You're talking maybe Stephen King.
Yes,
maybe.
Kane is more scary because
No.
like he makes
Well, he was
fire
burned.
He,
Yeah.
he makes fire come out of the ring posts. Well, we'll talk about The Mandalorian coming up, but one of the things that I had up here is an article from CBR.com. It's all these Star Wars swear words that you need to know, which I guess we can say on broadcast radio because they're Star Wars swear words. They're not real swear words.
Yeah.
It's like when Battlestar Galactica was a thing and everybody talked about fracking, except they weren't talking about what fracking actually is. That was the swear word
I gotcha.
that they would use in there. So I'm going to go through these so that you guys can add them to your lexicon. The first one, of course, is from Empire Strikes Back when Leia calls Han Solo a nerf
I was
herder.
gonna say a scruffy-looking nerf herder. I wonder if that's one of them.
Nerf herder. They explain that in Star Wars, nerfs are smelly, snotty space bovines.
Jesus, like Al, but
Wow. So you're
Space bovine.
you're either a
I may
space
smell bad, but I'm also delicious.
you're either a space
Ooh, now
bovine
I've never been so tempted to cook Al. Take a bite.
or you're Cameron Grimes.
Al's
Take your
made
pick.
me. Yeah, Al's made me go cannibal. I'm going cannibal for Al. Gotta taste it.
One of the other ones they've got in here is from Jabba the Hutt in Return of the Jedi when he tells Han Solo that now he's Bantha Poodoo. And obviously we all think that Bantha Poodoo means,
Poop.
number 2.
Yeah, poo poo.
But according to this, the word poodoo is just a funny, rude word for animal food in the Star Wars universe.
Oh, sure it is.
So he's just Bantha food, which is
think-
probably disgusting considering what Banthas
I think they had
look
to
like.
change that. Now that Disney owns the rights, they're like, that can't be poop.
That can be poop.
That's animal food.
In the Clone Wars, they refer to a lot of the clone troopers as bucket heads. So that's
Okay.
that you can use that, and they refer to some of the Twi'leks, the aliens with the kind of tubes coming off their heads, as where'd it go? I was just looking at
Donger heads.
it. Donger. that would be a good one.
Hey, dildo brains.
They call them tail heads.
Tail heads.
So that's it. Yeah, whatever.
Bucket heads. That's kind of offensive to the former guitarist for Guns N' Roses.
True. There you go.
It's hard to insult that guy because he's so good.
Is he?
Hey,
I don't know much about him.
Call
other
him
than he
whatever
wears
you will,
creepy
but
masks
he
and
is amazing on the guitar.
KFC buckets.
Yes, he is. Yeah.
I always assumed he was actually some other really well-known guitarist who was just trying to hide his identity.
Yeah. During the Ahsoka Tano, who was in the Clone Wars during that during that series, she refers to somebody as a slimo, which is just basically Hutt-ese for slime ball.
I was gonna say a slime ball.
Yeah.
Some of these are pretty easy to translate.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. That's the Bucketheads one here. There was one more. There was one that was pretty real good. Oh, it's from the Mandalorian. They you got to hear one of the characters say Dank Ferric,
Okay.
and it's essentially alien for goddammit.
Oh, Dank Ferret.
Yeah.
I thought
So-
that was like a weed reference.
Right.
Yeah.
Dang, you got some of that Dank Ferret. I smell it.
So yeah, for you kids at home that don't want to get caught by your parents swearing, there's a couple of new not quite swear words that you can start saying.
Still not as cool as the real ones.
No, definitely not.
They don't roll off your tongue like the F word does.
I'm sure, James, you strike me as the kind of kid when you were growing up that like had to say something. It's like, gosh darn it, when you really wanted to say God damn it until you grew up to the point where you could get away with it.
Yeah, well, around my parents, it would always be gosh darn, all the usual stuff. But like in school, I thought I had a legitimate problem where I was going to have to go see a doctor because all I would do was swear.
Yeah.
And, like every other word was the S word or the F word. And then I guess I matured a little bit.
You were wondering if you had Tourette's?
Kind of, yeah. It was. I didn't have like a weird tick about it, but I would just be like, well, S this and F that. And like no matter what, I'd have an adjective that was a 4-letter curse word in front of whatever I was trying to say. And then I finally realized it's better if you sprinkle it in. You don't have to.
Yeah, you don't have to use it all the time. Well,
yeah.
When you hit like junior high school age, I think most of us is when we're like, I can say the F word.
Yeah.
I can say the F word around my friends and like I don't get in trouble. This is
Yeah.
great. Oh, the teacher's coming. Don't say it.
Yeah. Oh, crap. There he comes.
All right, well, let's take a short break, and when we come back, I've got some gaming news, some more Marvel characters coming to Fortnite, and you can pet dogs in Call of Duty.
You can pet dogs.
You can pet
in
dogs.
Call of Duty.
I'll tell you how next.